Sometimes I think that what we do is very primitive. I have a stick with hair on the end of it, the same way it was, 50,000 years ago. It hasn't changed very much.
I think we've got to do that. I think it's going to be beautiful there.
It's going to go essentially to the ceiling. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. I'm just having my back thoughts about remembering 40 years ago. So it took up more of the wall 40 years ago.
I think a lot of the energy that comes out of New York art has to do with the artists confronting that aspect of abandonment. They take that energy right from the street or right from the building.
It was a space that was almost an outdoor space at that point. The windows were broken, it was full of water, it was very hard to think of as a building. The best show to have been working on in the last few years was the Rooms show, the first PS1 show.
We can't move it any farther to the right.
at the very least, you can move it here.
Right, at the very least. And then I'm just thinking about that.
In 1976, what Alanna decided to do was to invite a bunch of artists, close to 100, a lot of artists. The idea was a very interesting one, a very simple one. Choose your space. Walk through this wreck of a building and tell me where you want to work. It was just a big place where we could make art.
There was no social media, and the word of mouth, the following, what became world-famous curators who knew her and knew to be here for certain things because they just knew how exciting her vision was.
And of course, the Yasuda looks good.
To have an opportunity to literally be given carte blanche to make a piece, actually I went to Alanna and I said, I don't want just one room, I want 2 rooms. And I'm going to put a corridor in the wall between the rooms. And she said, fine.
How close are you staying to the original painting you did in the 76 show?
Oh, it's the lean.
The lean is the same.
The backlit part, all of that's the same.
Right.
The color and the paint are different.
Okay, so that the color and the paint are what you're giving yourselves 40 years of extra knowledge.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, this paint didn't even exist then.
In the first PS1 show, she took a classroom, and on that blackboard, the text was very sexual. Now, Marcia is 80 years old, and so she's writing about her feelings about those things now, as opposed to then.
I'll see you.
One of the interesting things about the original show, most of us were close friends, and most of us helped each other with our work because nobody could afford to hire assistants. When we brought the steel for my piece into PS1 originally, Bob was one of the guys who helped me. And I probably helped him build a wall here.
I was one of the youngsters. They were all 10 years older than me. Really, in my association with the artists that were in Rooms, I began to understand that how you think about things is part of what you're doing. That's what I think the sculptors made me understand.
In a certain sense, every piece in that show was an installation. Now everything is painted white, the floor is clean, so your eye moves. But in the original show, your eye moved more slowly because there was water and there were reflections and the walls were broken. It was about the spaces, about the rooms, because there was no avoiding it. And you walked from one person's wreck into another person's wreck, into another person's wreck.
There's this sort of brewing intensity here. You've got, I don't know, 70 or 80 artists here, and everybody's trying to come in and do something new.
Alanna, a big toast. We are here because 40 years ago, you started this. To Alanna.
You dream what kind of situations you can provide that are exciting to everyone, exciting to an audience, exciting to people who make art, exciting to people who look at art. I can't really think of anything I'd rather do than what I do.
It was an important moment of change in the way that we all were able to think about art.